Hello there, and as usual, I'm Aaron from Last Stand Gamers, and welcome to this new episode. It's called Mail on Monday. The idea of this episode, or this series, is to actually bring your ideas, your questions, and give them some answers. I try my best to get through the comments and try to write some answers in every now and then, but sometimes there's so many, or sometimes I don't really think I could explain it well enough. So today I took a few of the questions from the previous videos, and basically how it works from now on is if you want a question answered, you write it in the comments and the top right comments will get answered. So here are the questions that I've gathered up, things that I've both found interesting and I think you might find interesting first. So the first question is radar sonar. Do you reckon it'll work in the game? Do you reckon it will even exist in the game? Well, I gave this some thought. Radar and sonar would be pretty cool, and I read your discussion as well on the Steam group, and I was like, it could be really good, radar and sonar, if it works like a traditional sort of radar where it just picks up a blip on the actual map. But if it starts to do one of them stupid things where it starts to describe and say they've got this in the ship, they have 3 particle generators, they have this many weapons and so on, then I wouldn't see it as a very exciting thing. But you could have a lot of different ideas with this, like you could stack ships on top of each other, so sonar would work. But the problem with sonar and radar, right, is think of it like this, okay, space is not just a flat line like Earth, well, Earth's circling round, but it's actually up, down, side, back and forth, so reading the radar may be a lot harder than you actually think, unless you lay it out in a way where you can see all your directionals and your axes. So you might have to have 2 radars, like a vertical axis and a horizontal. So what I'm actually flying around in here is a new little fighter that I've built. I'll show you the little doodle I've built as well. So when I normally build new ships, I tend to like to do a little doodle to see what I could come up with, and this is what I came up with. It's basically like an assault ship. It's got a number of different cannons, and they're trying to do some digital camouflage. I don't know what you guys think of it, but I think it looks alright. Maybe I'll just go with a different colour instead of the green, but it does kind of blend from a distance. You see there? That is a bit of nice blending. Right, I think I've covered the sonar and radar feature anyway pretty well. Something else I was thinking about that was if you had sonar that only covered one direction, one axis, then you'd have to build your own sort of radar array that actually circled around your ship. Like, you know, you see the radar arrays actually circling, then that would be pretty interesting. Like, you build it on one end, the sonar scans 360, and that's how it basically works. Right, next question. A lot of you guys started asking about Hyperdrive. Will there be a way of travelling faster in the game? Will you be able to accelerate faster than the current way of acceleration? Well, I was thinking about this as well, and I thought, well, this could be a really great idea to jump to 2 or 3 positions. It could also be a way of getting around extremely fast between point A and point B. But with the thing with Hyperdrive is, can you actually be in control of your ship when you're in Hyperdrive? Or would it be literally you have to click on a certain point or tell it to go so far and then stop? There were the ideas I was thinking of. But as well, it could be interesting. It could be a great way of getting around different galaxies due to space being that big as well, and people might be in that spread out. It could be really interesting. Right, so the next feature, I'm going to go down to the station that is just over here to talk about, and this is compression airlocks and sort of having like an artificial environment for you, player, to actually breathe in, and you possibly even could take off your suit. I don't know what you think about this, but I think this would be a great idea if you had to seal these areas in properly, like you had to build these artificial sort of environments so you could actually walk around with them, move around. So let's hop out of this thing. So I'll just basically say the idea. So like each door has a seal, and in that seal you can actually be able to move around properly, and I think that would just be a really nifty idea. So once that's sealed, if you put 2 doors on, you can have like a decompression chamber, or whatever you would call it, and then basically you'd be inside here, and then you could take off your suit, and taking off your suit would be really cool, because then that would add to all sorts of different things like personal customization of yourself, like clothes, different things you could make as well. I don't know what you think, but moving on to the last topic, well, there's 2 topics actually, is water and liquid components. So someone said to me, what do you think of liquid and water components in this game? Well, I started to think to myself, right, this could be really useful if you wanted to use it as like a balance or a scale. You know, like how they have them clocks, them sand clocks. You could use it to build things like that. Liquid, you could use it to like rotate and run systems as well. But I don't really know how it would work in space, and it'd look probably pretty interesting. but I don't have much more to say on that, so I think you'll have to bring up your comments on that one. And finally, the last thing I was about is survival, and the question was, how do you think you'll start in survival? And I thought to myself, well, it's going to be very strange if you start in survival and you're just stuck in space. All you've got is a spacesuit and you've got very limited fuel in the jetpack, unless the jetpack fuel is unlimited. But then I think if the jetpack fuel's unlimited, that might be a little bit unfun as well, because then people will just be jetpacking around and just trolling. Well, maybe they won't be, but maybe they will as well, because you can actually get quite a bit of speed unless it's capped at a certain speed. I mean, so the idea would be, would you start with a group of people at a space station? Or would you start with some sort of thing pre-built? Or would you start in like an artificial gravity environment where you can actually build, and then you open the place up and then you start? So it's just one of the things. So how would you actually start it off? That was the question, and I honestly don't know. But I would probably enjoy it if you started off like in a small station, possibly with a few other people, because I think the starting part is absolutely crucial. Because if you make the friends early on, you make that group, you make the people at an early stage, then you can actually probably build and work with them rather than going to war. And I think that might be the crucial part, instead of this whole galaxy thought thing just being one massive war. Alright, so that was basically all the questions for today. So I thank you for watching, and if you want to get your question in for the next episode of Mailbox Monday, well, basically just write in the description below and get some likes on it, and I'll see you then and try to get that question answered. Remember, it doesn't have to be about space engineers, but this one just happened to be, because that's what you guys seem to be a bit crazy about at the moment. So I'll see you next time, and thanks for watching.